Dulanjali Anandan.
A public emergency has been declared in the country. Curfew imposed island-wide until 6 a.m. on Monday. The Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya has requested the public to act patiently and wisely at this moment. The ship carrying the first diesel stock under the Indian credit line arrives in the country, completes unloading and distribution expedited. More than 1 million cigarettes smuggled into the country destroyed. The Defence Secretary vehemently rejects reports that Indian forces have entered Sri Lanka. The US provides Ukraine military with equipment to protect from biological weapons.
And moving on to our top story with regard to curfew. Well, curfew has been imposed island-wide from 6 p.m. today to 6 a.m. on Monday. A public emergency was declared in the country and the relevant extraordinary gazette was issued last night.
The curfew has been imposed according to the powers vested with the President by the provisions in Public Security Ordinance. The gazette has been issued according to the powers vested with the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for public security to maintain order in the country and to maintain essential supplies and service for public life. Attorney at Law Dr. Pratibha Mahanama explained about the declaration of a public emergency. Attorney at Law Dr. Pratibha Mahanama said that the President has been vested with the powers according to the Public Security Act of the 1959 to maintain public peace, services and essential services. When an emergency is declared by a gazette, the President should inform it to the Parliament. It is imposed for 1 month. It should be informed to the Parliament within 14 days so that the Parliament can pass it. If it is to maintain more than 14 days, it is compulsory for the Parliament to approve it as a proposal. What is significant is that the Public Security Act will exceed all remaining regulations, laws and sub-regulations. The Public Security Act cannot violate rights accepted by the Constitution. According to the court decision, the right has been given to conduct protests without violence amidst an emergency declaration. However, those rights have been limited under the 15th clause of the Constitution. Those limits are national security and state security. However, Public Security Act does not exceed 3rd clause related to the fundamental rights. People have the right of freedom of expression in an environment of peaceful protests. When taken into custody under the Criminal Code of 1979, the person should be informed about the charge against him. But on an occasion like this, charges do not have to be informed. Under this, police and the army are empowered to make arrests without a warrant. Now, Amarapura Mahanikaya has requested people to act patiently and wisely at this moment.
Well, issuing a statement, the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura chapter, the most venerable Dodampahala Chandasiri Thera, has said that the politicians are recalled to intervene to help the people by actions but not through speech, he says. He's pointed out clashes reported at some places are a damage to the reputation of Sri Lanka. Well, it is no secret that the economy is affected at present due to the shortage of foreign exchange. He says the government had to spend a large amount of foreign reserves for the importation of food, and Sri Lanka has to face difficulties due to the pandemic. Losing foreign funds and the collapse of the tourism industry following the Easter Sunday attack have led to the downfall of the economy. The Mahanayaka has pointed out solutions to the drawbacks due to the prevailing economic difficulties should be solved internally without handing over the problems as a weapon to the others. Certain groups are acting to create non-existing problems by spreading hatred and anger, creating conflicts in the country. The Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya has emphasized that such unrest will lead the country further down to the precipice. The chapter has pointed out that setting fire to vehicles or damaging property should not be done due to the hardships caused to the people. The Mahanayaka has requested Sri Lankan society, which has the experience of various rebellions, to act with restraint.
Now, Public Security Minister Sarath Weerasekara says that laws will be strictly implemented against the persons who act violently under the pretext of conducting protests. He said this making a special statement today. Minister Sarath Virasekara said that the people are undergoing many difficulties. The government cannot ignore its responsibilities related to the situation. There are protests and it is a democratic right. However, police will take strict legal actions against persons who damage properties, trade stalls and houses under the pretext of conducting protests. Police have been instructed to identify saboteurs among peaceful protesters and not to harm journalists who are doing their duties. More than 39 million rupees of damages have been caused to properties during the Mirihana incident. 17 police officers have been seriously injured. Some of them are still in hospitals. They are performing their duties. Therefore, the public is requested to understand about their duties. The government has understood the problem of the people. Many countries in the world are facing similar challenges. The government has already made short and long-term plans to solve the issues. The government will brief the public about the measures in future. Therefore, the public is requested to be patient and not to get misled by the proposals of saboteurs.
The Ministry of Education has decided to permit principals to summon students of government and government-approved private schools from the 4th to the 8th of April for term tests and for the other essential activities that have been planned at schools. Well, term tests of all grades and teaching in primary grades have been completed in schools under the northern, southern, northwestern and eastern provinces. The Ministry of Education said that term tests are remaining to be conducted during that week only in few grades of other provinces. Accordingly, all teachers and staff should arrive in the schools during that week and take steps regarding term tests, and plans should be prepared for the next academic year. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Professor Kapila Pereira, said that the decision was taken considering the convenience of children and students and to the support the Public Utilities Commission to take relevant decisions. Well, the ship carrying the first stock of diesel received under the Indian credit line arrived in the country last night.
Petroleum Corporation said that unloading fuel has been completed and distribution of diesel is taking place expeditiously. Operations of the ship, which arrived at Colombo Harbour last night, commenced this morning. The stock of diesel was officially handed over to Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle by the ship's captain, and the High Commissioner handed it over to Minister Gamini Lokuge at the harbour premises. There are 40 metric tons of diesel in the ship. The Ministry of Energy said that ships carrying fuel under Indian assistance will arrive in the country on the 4th and 5th as well. More than 100,000 gas cylinders have been issued to the market today. Litro Gas Company said that gas distribution will take place tomorrow, although it is a holiday. It has requested the consumers to inform them on the hotline number 1311 about the traders who hide gas stocks and sell it at higher prices. The consumers can also make complaints to the Consumer Affairs Authority or police. Litro Gas Company said that the price of domestic gas has not been introduced. Litro Gas agent in Hatton Town has been issued gas stocks after some days. Litro Company decided to conduct an investigation after consumers charged that the agent took more money when giving tokens to issue gas. Steps have been taken to effect power cuts under several stages, which commences 8 a.m. tomorrow and end on midnight. Power will be disconnected for 2 hours and 15 minutes in the morning and for 3 hours in the night in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K and L zones. The power cut will come into effect for 2 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the night in P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W zones.
Well, we now bring you the feature titled Abhiyoga Madha Hedena Rata, produced by the President's Media Division. Well, the new power plant that will be added to the national grid is Broadlands Hydropower Plant, and it has a capacity of 35 megawatts and adds 126 million electricity units annually to the grid. The main dam will be built in Muskelia. The water will be taken from there through a tunnel 3.5 kilometers long to a power plant built at the Kalukotan area to generate electricity and releases water back to the river. An 800-meter long tunnel will take water to the main dam constructed another dam to use the water in Kehelgamu Oya. Constructions of the power plant have been completed and tests are being conducted for about 1.5 months. And it will be officially added to the national grid very soon.
Now, more than 1 million foreign cigarettes smuggled into the country were destroyed yesterday by Sri Lanka Customs and at the tobacco company premises. The cigarettes were destroyed under the supervision of the Director General of Customs Department, Vijitha Ravipriya. The value of the cigarettes smuggled in from China is about 144 million rupees. They had been hidden inside 2 containers. Smuggling in cigarettes through various methods has increased during the past few years. According to World Health Organization reports, the country has become a target of global illegal cigarette trade. A report published by the Research Intelligence Unit disclosed that 21% of the cigarettes found in 2021 from the country was illegal. The illegal cigarettes, which was 10% in 2012, has increased gradually up to 21% by now. The report said it has caused a financial loss of 27 billion rupees. Sri Lanka Customs has emphasized that strict measures have been taken to prevent cigarettes being brought to the country illegally.
Well, Ranjali, there were kind of intermittent rain here and there reported from many parts of the country. But with all that rain, not that much, it is really hot.
Still
and
scorching
hot.
sun.
Yes. And during this extreme hot weather, there's caution from the health authorities because dehydration, stroke, cramps, and even strokes can occur. So, have you kind of experienced this adverse hot weather conditions?
I think almost all of us are going through this, but this is a precaution that they have advised for us to take, be very careful about the situation to prevent from, having to experience such difficulties.
Yeah.
So the report is about the hot weather condition.
Yes. Now this report, as you mentioned, about the hot weather condition and which can affect the individual, especially with regard to health, right? And the Met Department says that when the heat index is between 39 and 45, attention should be paid, and when it is between 46 and 52, more attention, and also when it is more than 52, it says it is dangerous. Well, fatigue can occur by getting exposed to sunlight and engage in various activities. Doctors say dehydration, cramps could occur by continuing physical activities. Tiredness and strokes could occur due to heavy heat. Well, under warm weather, a sufficient amount of water should be taken when in a work site. Rest should be taken under shelters. Attention would be paid to the elders' homes, and small children should not be left in their vehicles. People have been informed to limit heavy physical activities in open space, to stay in sheltered places, and to drink sufficient water. And also, medical advice is to wear white or light-colored clothing. Well, the Met Department says that showers or thunder showers, we've been talking about hot weather, showers or thunder showers can occur in many areas of the country today.
It has requested the public to take precautions to minimize accidents by strong winds and lightning. More than 100 milliliters of rain can occur in central, Sabaragamu, Uva and north central province and in Trincomalee, Vaunia, Mullaitivu and Kurunegala districts. Sea areas of Hambantota coast from Puttalam to Colombo via Galle and Mathura can experience rain or thunder showers in the night. Temporary strong winds can occur in those sea areas during showers or thunder showers. The Met Department said those sea areas can become rough at times.
Well, director of the Colombo Lady Ridgeway Hospital, that is Dr. G. Vijay Surya, has emphasized the need to get the booster vaccine if you still haven't got it. Since the spreading of the coronavirus during the forthcoming festive season, the rate is high.
Nowadays, we can notice that number of patients are coming to the hospital is very less, and usually we can notice around 200 patients are reporting every day, and the number of patients are taking, inward patients are going down, and the number of deaths also coming down, and we can notice around 5 deaths per day reported these days. At the same time, usage of oxygen as well as using of the ICU facilities also we can see to a certain extent low, and outside COVID patient management centers also now we have closed down. The people who need some kind of inward patient, treatment, they can straight away admitted to the hospital. Actually, this situation reached because of behavior. That's very much important. And the same time, and public, we are giving the vaccination program. That was a very successful vaccination program we conducted in the Ministry of Health in Sri Lanka. So at the moment, we noticed that the taking of the booster dose, of course, to a certain extent, lesser amount. We are expecting the amount that actually that the booster dose taking only the 52%. There are over 48% of people above age 20 has to be taken this booster dose. That's very important. The people who are not taken booster dose, please advise to take this booster dose from the health centers and all the hospital above Wesosville. They can take this vaccine. It's available in Sri Lanka. And the people who are willing to take Pfizer vaccine, anyone who can take this vaccine, even first dose and second dose, we are allowed to give the Pfizer vaccine. People who are seeking for the Pfizer vaccine.
Now, we know the prices are increasing of almost all the commodities, but particularly rice, it's a staple food in Sri Lanka. So we have been experiencing high prices, but there seems to be the importation of the product as well.
Talking of rice, especially during the festive season, out of the season, rice is definitely a cannot do without commodity. So talking of rice, we have some news about 40,000 metric tons of rice that will be imported under the India credit line. Well, Sri Lanka Trade Trading Corporation has signed an agreement with the Punjab Agro Foods Company.
Managing Director of the company, B.V. Krishna Rao, said that loading of rice into containers has commenced at India's southern port. He said that the ships will arrive in Sri Lanka in few more days. The Foreign Minister says that during discussions between Chairman Jin Lee Kun of Asian Infrastructure Facility Bank and Sri Lanka Ambassador in China, Dr. Palitha Kohona, Mr. Jin Lee Kun has advised to get assistance from the IMF to overcome economic challenges. The Foreign Minister said that the chairman of the bank informed that it is prepared for Sri Lanka's target of getting 70% of Sri Lanka's energy needs by 2030 through renewable energy sources.
Well, Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne says that social media reports saying that Indian forces have entered Sri Lanka are vehemently rejected. Well, the photographs in the fake news story have been identified as official photographs published during the Mitra Shakti Indo-Sri Lanka joint military exercise last year. The statement has said that the Indian military team arrived at Sri Lanka's Matala airport to take part in the bilateral military exercise, which is being continued between India and Sri Lanka. The Defence Secretary in his statement has emphasized that people should not panic over such false information and keep their trust only on ethical media reporting. Well, definitely, we were talking about hot weather, and a good escape is definitely going to Little England. Any plans for the new year, Dulanji?
Yes, certainly. We will be moving on to New Orleans on a trip, yes. So
Okay.
This is about news that whoever's having the plans to go up country, to the hill country, yes, this is for your information.
Yes. So we have a little bit of detail about the Salalihini Vasante, which in fact was begun yesterday, and it will continue right through the festive season. So we have something.
Yes. So programs of Sundara Nuwara Elia, Salalihini Vasante took place today as well. National Television is the media sponsor of the event.
සුන්දර නුවරඑළිය සැලලිහිණි වසන්තය 2022.
Nuwara Elia is located in a very sensitive environmental zone. The weather changes often. Local and foreign tourists are arriving into the experience of Sundara Nuwara Elia Salalihini Vasante 2022.
Well, the meeting, which decides on the Ramazan festival, took place today at the Colombo Grand Mosque. And the Colombo Grand Mosque announced that Ramazan month will commence from tomorrow. And moving on with more local stories, the Ransalu National Textile and Exhibition and Trade Fair commenced yesterday at the Nugasavana premises of BMICH. It has been organized by the Department of Textile Industries. Well, the aim of this exhibition is to find a market for the products of the local handloom textile industrialists. The exhibition was held today as well from 10 a.m. and it includes 40 trade stalls.
Now, Vyavasaya 2022 Marketing and Educational Exhibition was held today at the BMICH in Colombo. The exhibition has been organized with the aim of creating an environment for new enterprises led by the youth. One of the main aims of the program is to find new market opportunities for the products of local youth entrepreneurs.
We now bring you some more local news in brief. The two-storied school building of Madaragiri Sirmao Bandaranayaka Primary School was vested with the students yesterday. It has 8 classrooms. The North Central Provincial Council has spent more than 20 million rupees to construct the building. The group of people, including State Minister Siripala Gamlat and North Central Province Governor Mahipala Herath, were present. The 26th anniversary of No. 8 Light Transport Squadron of the Air Force falls today. It was established in 1996 with Y-12 transport aircraft and B-200 aircraft. The aircraft under the squadron perform many tasks, including transporting of soldiers, goods, search and rescue operations and distribution of essential food items. The present commanding officer of the squadron is Group Captain Poojana Gunathilaka.
Now, Chairman of Siddhalepa Group, Dr. Victor Hettigoda passed away today at the age of 84 years. Mr. Victor Hettigoda, who was born in Galle, Valpola, entered small business field in 1959. He has experienced various difficulties during his lifetime and used his experiences for his achievements. He has contributed to popularize local Ayurveda products locally and internationally under the Siddhalepa brand name. Siddhalepa products are imported to 20 countries and 90 varieties of medicine are issued to the market under the label. Mr. Victor Hettigoda, who was ailing for some time, passed away today while undergoing treatment at a private hospital. That's all on local news. We'll be back with international news after this break. On foreign news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said the military situation in the country's east remained extremely difficult and said Russia was preparing for new strikes in the Donbas region and the city of Kharkiv. In a video address, Ukraine President Zelensky said that the Russian troops in the north of the country were pulling back slowly but noticeably. He also warned his people that Russian forces were creating a complete disaster outside the capital as they leave mines across the whole territory, even around homes and corpses. The U.S. Department of Defense spokesman John Kirby said that the United States will provide an additional $300 million in security assistance to Ukraine, including laser-guided rocket systems, drones and commercial satellites imagery services. This announcement represents the beginning of a contracting process to provide new capabilities to Ukrainian armed forces. The White House has said that the United States is providing Ukraine with supplies and equipment in case Russia deploys chemical or biological weapons in its offensive on Ukraine. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the supplies were being provided to the government of Ukraine in light of warnings from the United States and other countries that Russia could deploy such weapons and might be planning a false flag operation to lay the groundwork for such an attack. The White House has not provided evidence that Russia has been planning such an attack. A Red Cross convoy traveling to the Ukrainian city of Mariupol will try again to evacuate civilians from the besieged port. The International Committee of the Red Cross says its Mariupol operation has been approved by both sides, but major details were still being worked. International Red Cross sent a team on Friday to lead a convoy of about 54 Ukrainian buses and other private vehicles out of the city, but they turned back, saying conditions made it impossible to proceed.
And moving into Yemen, the UN says that the 2-month truce has been agreed by warring parties in Yemen. Well, according to United States estimates, it is the first nationwide truce agreed since 2016 in a war which killed nearly 400,000 people. About 60% died from hunger, lack of healthcare and unsafe water. The deal between Saudi-led coalition and Iran-backed Houthi rebels is scheduled to come into effect today. US President Joe Biden hailed the unbrokered truce as a long-awaited reprieve for the Yemeni people. The truce announcement was made by the UN Special Envoy on the second day of the peace talks in Riyadh. The parties accepted the halt of all offensive military, air, ground and maritime operations inside Yemen and across its borders.
Chinese local authorities say that 6 people went missing following a mud flow near a highway maintenance station in southwest China's Yunnan province today. Chinese local authorities say that those roads have been cut off and some houses have been buried by large-scale mudslide from the mountain. Authorities are making further investigation to get a clearer picture of the situation. The accident took place in morning hours in Drungnu, autonomous county of Gongshan, after continuous rain hit the area, burying 2 auto repair workshops and 1 scrap metal recycling facility, said a statement from the information office of the county government. Nearby residents have been evacuated to safety.
Creamer Kottumi, hot and spicy නව වසරක් වේවා.
Well, moving on to the sports news. Firstly, Sports Minister Nama Rajapaksa has temporarily suspended the registration of the Sri Lanka Rugby Federation with immediate effect. And this has been issued as an extraordinary gazette notification in his regard, according to the powers vested in him as a sports minister.
It has said that Sports Director General Amal Edrisuriya has been appointed as the competent authority for the administration and other affairs of Sri Lanka Rugby Federation and to take measures to hold elections for office bearers. Kolkata Knight Riders claimed the second victory of the Indian Premier League 2022 yesterday by beating Punjab Kings. The match was played at vacant ground in India. Batting first, Punjab Kings scored 137 in 18.2 overs. Bhanuka Rajapaksa scored 31 in 9 balls. His innings included 3 sixes and 3 boundaries. Umesh Yadav took 4 wickets, chasing a target of 138. Kolkata Knight Riders won the match by 6 wickets. Andres Russell was unbeaten on 70. Rahul Chahar took 2 wickets. Umesh Yadav was adjudged as man of the match. Ajanta Mendes and Shamara Kapugedera have set up a cricket training centre at Thalawathagoda Ostatia Club. They said that young players, mercantile cricket teams and school teams will get the training opportunities.
And moving on to local stories, this is basketball. The Avant Super Basketball Championship 2022 worked out at the Sugadasa Indoor Stadium, and in fact the Avon BC team won the 3rd place. So we have more details on that.
The match for the 3rd place of the A group was played this morning between Avid BC and Army teams. Avid BC was leading 44-22 by the close of first half. In the second half, Avid BC won the match 82-56, beating the Army. The final women's match of the B group was played between Penguin BC and contenders teams. Penguin BC led the first half 27-26. Penguin BC won the championship of the Group B by winning the match 51-41.
Creamer Kottumi, hot and spicy නව වසරක් වේවා.
Well, time for us to leave. That's the end of the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs. Take care. Good night. Stay safe.